Hey witches, it's Jamie from the New Witch Academy of Modern Magic, and today I want to talk about Mabon. Mabon is the second harvest holiday in the witches' wheel of the year. It is the fall equinox, and equinox means equal day and night. So this would be a time of the year when our daylight hours would match our nighttime hours, so roughly 12 and 12, although that doesn't happen everywhere in the world. You can check out your local time zone and when the sun sets to see if there's equal day and night at your location. Now Mabon happens around September 20th to 22nd. This year, 2022, Mabon is happening on September 22nd, 2022. So how did Mabon come to be? There is a longer Celtic story that it would take too much time to try to explain and understand in this short video, but a more widely known story that correlates perfectly is Demeter and Persephone. And even beyond naming it, if you just think about the feeling of this holiday representing an infant being taken away from its mother. So if we imagine that Earth is the mother and her infant has been taken away, in the story the mothers all go into deep despair searching for their children. For Earth, what we visibly see Earth do in our winter time, the fall into winter, is the depletion of trees having leaves, things go from green to brown. So this feels like a loss. We can see and feel that the Earth is losing something. And although the Earth is not losing a child, what is actually happening is the Earth is losing sunlight. From this point on, from Mabon until Ostara, so from right now until March 20th or 22nd, the nights will be longer than the days for most of us. It does depend on where you live a little bit. In the celebration of the Wheel of the Year, this is the dark half of the year, meaning that nighttime is slowly taking over daylight. So instead of thinking about an infant being taken from its mother, we can think about the Earth is now in a rotation to where she's leaning, at least in the northern hemisphere, she's leaning further away from the sun, meaning that we lose light. Plants don't grow as well. The trees drop their leaves in order to conserve energy because they're not getting enough sunlight to make food. And the world starts to go dark. So here at the fall or autumn equinox, we are looking at a balancing day. We are just at the end of our summertime. We're harvesting stuff that we've been working for, and we're moving into a time where there's less work to do, but there's also less to gather. We're gonna slowly run out of the things that we've stored up or grown in the last year. Since this holiday is an equinox holiday, meaning equal day and night, and it starts right at Libra season, which Libra has the balancing scales as its symbol, it ties in perfectly with how to proceed in this next half of the year, or at least in this next season. There's really three ways to break down the feeling around Mabon. You have the storage of food. So if we turn that into a modern thing, the storing is, what are the things that we've done, the growth that we're going to be keeping, that we're going to continue to do. The storing of food, which can translate into a modern way of thinking. If you're storing food, that's actually in preparation for the future. You're storing that food so that you can get to the future, survive in the future. So to turn it into a modern quest, what and how are we planning for our own futures? And what are the things that we're doing today that help or don't help getting us to that future that we want? The next thing is eating. So with eating, of course, it's the physical act of eating and enjoying the harvest and everything that we've worked hard for and grown. But the eating part of it is about being in the present moment, which has the word gratitude around it. Every day acknowledging what you have and being grateful for it, and the things that you don't want in your life, that you're not happy with, it's the next step. What we leave in the field to let die. With any harvest, you're going to have crops that could be affected by pests, disease, they just didn't get big enough, you don't want to save them, whatever it is. And so there is a decision to save yourself the work and let it all die off in the field. So from storing food, which is planning for the future, to eating the food, being in the moment and being grateful, now we have, what do we need to let die in the field? This is about cutting ourselves from habits that do not help our future growth, that are somehow holding us back from becoming our highest selves and living our life with the purpose that we want. Where can you find out more information about this holiday? Obviously the internet, but I know that, going to certain web pages and trusting what people write can be a problem. The book that I use for reference is definitely the Llewellyn Sabbat Essentials. Now, I don't use the word Sabbat because I really like to use holiday or celebration. It's language that I'm more comfortable with. But in this book, it has tons of correspondences, arts and crafts that you can do, food that you could make. It lists and writes everything out for you, tons of ideas. So in here, if you're interested in spell work that is centered around Mabon, they do write out some spells, they write out incantations, and they also have the associated tarot cards for this season, which I like to look and see what other people think the cards are that represent this season. They only use the major arcana in the books to say, well, that's not true. I think one of them actually says the whole thing of Pentacles, but they mostly use the major arcana to describe the feeling of the season. And for Mabon, the 4 cards associated with Mabon would be the Empress, which is the goddess mother, representing the earth and the bounties. The Hanged Man, which is about being able to stay still in the situation that you're stuck in and learning from that. I like the way this relates to Mabon because whether your harvest is good or bad, you're really stuck with what you've done. And there's not a lot you can do after that because the growing season is over. So I can see how the Hanged Man really plays into the Mabon, the equinox time frame, because there's not a way to go back and do more. What you've done for the year is done, and now you must learn from your actions. The next card is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is such an interesting card because it doesn't say whether your outcome is good or bad. It just says that the wheel is always turning and the eyes of fate are fixed upon you, and to take advantage of what you have right now because you never know when the wheel is going to go and spin again. I think the Wheel of Fortune card is speaking towards that gratitude part of the holiday, where it's sitting with what you have and being grateful for it in the moment, knowing that hard times could come, but you're not going to worry about the future, you're going to worry about the present. Lastly, the card associated with the holiday of Mabon is the World. I thought this was an interesting pick because for me, the world is about getting all of the things that you want that fit for you. That would look different for everybody, but I thought that having the World, meaning that it's the best completion or a final card, this is not the end of the wheel. The last holiday, well, I guess it sort of is the end of the wheel because the end and the start of the wheel is also Samhain. Samhain being the next holiday, which falls October 31st. So maybe it's appropriate that this is the last holiday before the holiday for the new year. Thank you so much for tuning in today, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. I absolutely love teaching and giving knowledge. And by you being here, that helps me live my higher purpose, my best reality. If this video was helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.